Citius Altius Fortius. This Latin phrase translated says faster, higher, stronger. These three words have power behind their meaning because they represent the Olympic motto. Their meaning comes from the blood, sweat, and tears shed by the Olympic athlete since the beginning of the modern Olympic Games. For being an athlete myself, I can relate to the struggle of the Olympic athlete's hunger for fame and glory. And trust me, the journey to reach your full potential as an athlete is long and painful. But the journey to receive the opportunity to be a part of the Olympic Games is an even more strenuous and laborious voyage. Today, I would like to educate you on the Olympic Games history, symbols and ceremonies, and sporting events. So where were the Olympic Games first held? According to Scholastic.com, the Olympic Games originated long ago in ancient Greece. The exact dates, times, and circumstances that led to the creation of the Games are still uncertain today. What we do know is that the Games grew from the values and beliefs of the Greek society. Mental discipline and physical fitness were overemphasized by the Greeks, and they thought that excellence in those subjects honored their greatest god Zeus. It was said, Zeus fought his father Kronos for control of the world, and when he had won the battle, a temple and colossal statue were built below in a valley in honor of him. The valley was called Olympia, and it is thought that religious celebrations in Olympia led to the renowned Games of the Olympics. Even though we have no idea when the first ever Olympic Games were played, we do know that the earliest documented competition in the Olympic Games was in 766 BC. The one stage, which is basically a 630-foot or 192-meter race, was the only event, and it was successfully won by a man named Charybdis, who was a simple cook. This was the beginning of the 4-year era where the Greeks documented their history, also known as the First Olympiad. The decline of Olympic Games was evident after Rome conquered Greece around 100 BC. Eventually good and fair competition became ignored by those who sought glory through deceit or trickery. The Valley of Olympia began to collapse, and the illustrious statue of Zeus was then seized and taken away to Constantinople, where the Romans destroyed it with fire and brimstone. It was not until 1829 that German archaeologists began uncovering Olympia, and it was not until 1896 that the first Olympic Games since the era of Olympia was held. So now that you know the history of the Olympic Games, let's see what some of the symbols and ceremonies are. According to infoplease.com, the Olympic Games have symbols and ceremonies to include, but not limited to, the Olympic anthem and oath. The Olympic anthem was developed for the first modern Olympic Games, which was in 1896, and was created by Spyros Samaras and Kostas Palamas. However, each of the following Olympic Games through 1956 had its own music that was played during the opening ceremony as the Olympic flag was elevated. It was not until 1960 that the Olympic Games used Samaras and Palamas' work as the official anthem for every Olympics. During the opening ceremony, the oath of the Olympic Games is taken by one athlete and one judge from each individual's nation. Before 1984, the oath was taken while holding the national flag of the judges' or athlete's home nation. But since 1984, the oath has been taken while gripping one of the Olympic flag's corner. The first oath was taken by an athlete in 1920, and it was not until 1972 that the first oath taken by a referee was held. So now that you know a little bit about the Olympic Games history, symbols, and ceremonies, let's see what sports are involved. According to Olympic.com, there are a ton of different sporting events held during the Summer and Winter Games, but some of the events that are held in the Summer Olympics are to include, but are not limited to, the sport of athletics and weightlifting. The high competitive sport of athletics is a high-class collection of sporting events that involve walking, running, throwing, and jumping. The typical kinds of athletic competitions are track and field, road running, cross country, and race walking. The racing results are decided by who has the fastest times, while jumps and throws are decided by the highest or furthest distances measured from a series of attempts, which is usually about 3 attempts. Weightlifting is more of a modern Olympic event in which athletes compete to lift the most amount of weight with a single lift of a barbell. The two lifts that are used in Olympic Games are the snatch and clean and jerk, in which each athlete has 3 attempts for each event, and the total of the highest 2 successful lifts in each category decides the winner. Lifters are placed in weight categories, and additionally, if the lifter fails to complete at least 1 successful snatch and clean and jerk, the athlete fails the overall total and will get an incomplete entry for the competition. In conclusion, today I hope I have informed you about the Olympic Games. The Games come from a beautiful and competitive heritage, and luckily we have discovered them and have made them a part of our culture today. The symbols and ceremonies of the Olympic Games represent the honor, courage, commitment of the Olympic athlete and their sporting event. I hope that I've educated you on the Olympic Games history, symbols and ceremonies, and sporting events. Thank you for your time and have a good day.